Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with Cookie Pirate. Today, we're gonna fly the Diamond DA62, the twin-engine one that I took for the first time yesterday. We're gonna go from Homer, Alaska down to Kodiak. Thought about going out of Kenai, but I decided to just make it a slightly shorter flight out of Homer. Save about 20 minutes total. What I have not done is gone through and actually plotted it out and set it up. And I am going to pull Sky Vector, and I can show you how I flight plan. So we're going to clear this out. We're going to type the airport departure, which is Homer, or you can even just click right here. Plan Homer. And we're going down here to Kodiak. Oh, the weather changed. It got worse. It was actually looking very good. The next thing we're going to do, and this is how I generally choose all of my routes. So first, I like to look around. I'm just going to use Alaska since I've been flying there a lot. And I decide what kind of weather I want to fly in. Do I want good weather, or do I want like cloudy, foggy, challenging weather to fly in? And I'm okay with moderately decent weather today. And it actually got worse at Kodiak since I pulled it up, but it's still okay. So we see our lines, and I generally try to keep my flight time about an hour or a little less. We're going to put the true airspeed at cruise, which for this plane is going to be about 170. 43 minutes. We're not going at 8,000 feet, we're going to go to 14,000. And now you see it changes to 50 minutes. And we'll check the nav log that pops up. And we see we're going to have about a 10 knot headwind. So that's not too bad. What I'll do is sometimes check altitudes above and below what my planned cruise is, and see if we can get more favorable wind conditions, or maybe if our fuel burn is going to be better, which that we can calculate, but I don't do that in here. Instead for that, we'll look up the pilot handbook, try to pull some numbers, and I'm not going to go through all of that right now. So this is the course we've got. Let's take a look at the weather that they're reporting right now. Homer, 250 at 11 knots, 10 miles visibility, the clouds are overcast at 3,800, 14 Celsius and 30.12 on the altimeter. So that means we will have to take off, we'll taxi out and have to take off to the southwest. That'll save us on flight time, but it's going to keep us on the ground longer. If we come down and look at Kodiak's weather, 090 at 5, 10 miles visibility, few clouds at 1,000 and broken at 2,600, 12 Celsius. So what that means is, and I'm fairly familiar with flying into Kodiak, and probably some of you all are at this point too, as much as you watch me go in and out of there. Alright. Bad jokes are over. Generally, we'll have to fly out over the water and come in and land that way, and the wind would actually be pushing us today, but it's a long runway that we have to work with, and the tailwind would not be particularly strong, so we probably would do that. Otherwise, we could try to fly over the city and turn, but most likely we'll just fly out over the water and come in and land the way that we normally do. So it's showing if we go at 170 knots, true airspeed at 14,000 feet, it should take us 50 minutes. What this doesn't take into consideration is our turn and takeoff, and then our turn coming in to arrive, so I usually add 5 minutes. So let's just say 55-minute flight out of Homer. With the weather looking like it is, we don't have to worry about any departure procedures. The visibility's not bad over the water. There's not any real high obstacles. By the time we cross over this terrain, we'll be well above these mountains. Same thing with Kodiak, we'll be flying in over the water and turning, so we don't have to worry about the height of the mountains or terrain or anything. Alright, with that, let's go ahead and just a second. Now, with that, let's just go ahead and jump right into the simulator. I need to center that on the screen. There we go. Okay. So, in the sim, we have the Diamond DA62, and I have a cool paint scheme that I downloaded. It's carbon black and a chrome bottom. We got the weight and balance set up with the fuel that we want. And I tend to fly light, so we're just going to stick with that. Gonna go back in here. We're going to choose a place to start up on the ramp at Homer. And that's probably going to be right here, because I see other twin-engine airplanes here. All of these would be probably too small. So we'll load in right here. And then we just scroll down to Kodiak and set Kodiak as our arrival. And it's showing 43 minutes. And set our cruise altitude to be no. Ah! This is kind of buggy. 14,000 feet. And it still says 43. It's probably going to be a little bit more, like we talked about, 50 to 55. But we are loaded. Well, we're not loaded in. We've got everything set up and ready to start the flight. So, let's go back to our regular intro. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with Cookie Pirate. Today we're flying from Homer, Alaska down to Kodiak. About 50 minutes in the air, 120 miles, 14,000 feet. Climb aboard, let's go flying. It's taking a minute to load in. Might be a little slow to load in because of the scenery upgrade. I got some scenery for the airport. And that actually looks pretty neat. It's a little barren. Oh, look at the plane. And I just realized an error. So I need to exit back out. I realized I'm not using real world weather, so we actually have to go back through and plot this back out. Alright, let's change a couple things here. Let's go baggage nose, 90 pounds, make sure we're centered. The auxiliary tanks go to 0. I think these we had set to 19 gallons. Got that set up. So we just have to go back and load this in. And the last thing we need to do is change to live weather. Okay, all looks good. Let's load in, try this again. Pro Flight Sim streamer moment, guys. And ladies, sorry about that. Yeah, that's more like what I was expecting it to be. Not great weather, but it's actually not looking quite as bad as I thought it would. That's pretty cool though. The chrome and then the black carbon on top. That looks sweet. Let's just admire this. The credit to whoever made this, because this looks really cool. You have the carbon fiber black, and then the chrome on the bottom. And then, that's the diamond logo on the tail. That is super cool. Well done. Whoever made that did a really good job with this. And look at the airport. That looks cool. Hey, there's a gate open. That's a security problem. We got the hangars, trees. Alright, folks. We are loaded in on the ground at Homer. Let's go into the cockpit. Pull our checklist up and run through it. Get started out. Parking brake. First thing we check, parking brake is set. Landing gear handle is showing down. If you raised it, it'll probably give some sort of an alarm when you turn that on. Handle is down. Oxygen is off. Auxiliary pumps right here are off. Yeah, this looks so cool. We got the carbon fiber black interior too. It looks super cool. I like it better than the tan. That's like standard. Yeah. Aux tank transfers are off. Auxiliary power switch is in op. Okay, so it's off. Yeah, don't have to worry about that. Fuel selectors go on to on. And then we set the guards. Power levers, we'll check. Yep, idle. Pitot heat is off. Avionics master is off. Electric battery master is off. Fuel switch, fuel pumps are off. Engine master switches are off. All of the light switches up top are off, and these here are off. Fuel, passengers, and cargo are loaded on board. Now we're going to prepare to get the engine started. Alternator switches come on. Voter switches right here are at auto. They are in op, so we don't need to worry about them. ELT is armed. Let's see. Flaps are up. Battery master switch on. Give that a minute for it to come up. And shouldn't be playing that. There we go. Cockpit lights, floodlights, instrument lights not required right now. Let's check the flight controls from in here. Rudder, stick. All looks like it's functioning the way it should. And we check the flight controls on the outside when we do our before takeoff. Want to make sure the flaps are full travel. Down to half. Down to full. Back up. We're good on both sides. Rudder trim should be centered, which it is. Pitch trim should be set to takeoff. Which it is. Gear warning and fire detector that is in op. We don't have to worry about it. De-ice enunciator test. Good. Now the screens should come on. That's a bug, the airplane, so we have to turn the avionics off or on. Now we would not start the engine with the avionics on because the Basically, the electrical load could fry the avionics, or damage them otherwise. However, because of the way that the plane is configured in the sim, we have to have them on. I wonder if there's a mod or something that corrects that. I don't know. Alright, our fuel is showing 19 gallons on both sides. No fuel in the auxiliary tanks. That's what we set. That's what we want. Okay. Now we've got our location set up here on the ground at Homer. We can actually zoom in for the taxi because we're going to have a long taxi. Not crazy long, but... yeah. Okay. Power levers are idle. Let's go ahead and turn the strobe lights on. Low voltage, yeah, we know because the engine isn't running. Let's grab the weather real quick here at Kenai, or at Homer rather. I thought about taking off out of Kenai, but no. Alright, 250 at 12, visibility's 10. Starting to clear up a little bit, scattered at 3800. 14 Celsius, 30.11. Good. Alright, but the wind is still strong, so we still have to taxi a fair ways over. Strobe lights are on. Let's go ahead and configure the autopilot. So, the first thing we will do is set 14,000 for a cruise. Dial that back one. CDI is set to GPS, so that is good. And then we need to turn the FLC on and set the speed. 90? Oh, 90. Okay. Alright, strobe lights are on, so here we are ready to go ahead and start the engines. We always begin with the left. So to do that, first thing we'll do is we'll clear the engine area, so the left is clear. Okay. Left on. Wait for the glow indicator to clear. Alright, it is cleared, no enunciation. And we will go ahead and hit the button. Clear left! That's fun, shunny. It sounds funny when I shout into the mic like that. And engine is up and running. Oil pressure is in the green. Temperature is beginning to rise. That's all good there. That sounds weird when I shout into that. Might have to pull it away from my mouth so it doesn't blow everybody's eardrums out. Alright, next thing we'll go ahead and do is master for the right switch. Right prop area clear. Get ready to hit the button. Clear right! Alright. Oil pressure is up into the green for the right engine. Starting to settle back down. Coolant temp is coming up. Oil temp is coming up. Alright. Idle power set. The RPMs are a little bit high. 747. They shouldn't be higher than 740, but that's fine. It may have something to do with the air temperature. Maybe something else that we've configured. I don't know. Not a big deal. We would check the voltage and the electrical load, which for whatever reason we can't see in here. Oil temperatures and pressures are good. Put the fuel selectors to crossfeed, which means we just grab those there and switch them. So what'll happen is the left fuel tank will go into the right engine, and the right fuel tank will go to the left engine. So that's what crossfeed means. We're not seeing any electrical values on here, which is kind of weird. I don't understand that. So we can't check those, but I know that they're okay because we don't have any failures set up. So nothing is going to fail or run abnormally. We don't need the pitot heat on, so we can leave it off for now. Avionics are on. Let's go ahead and turn the position lights or nav lights on. Fuel selectors now go back to on, so they will feed their respective engine. Altimeter is set. Flaps will get set to takeoff. Let's make sure. Good. Good. Transponder mode code check. Let's go out. Our codes are input. Taxi lights on, and we can go ahead and release the parking brake. Clear on the left, clear on the right. Let's bring the power up a little bit. Now let's get ready to taxi out. Oh! The wing passed right through him. Alright. Let's not go too fast. A lot of aircraft parts here. Kinda neat. Alright, we are going to runway 22, which means we're gonna actually have to turn. And yeah, let's zoom out on this. Oh, we're gonna have to back taxi down almost the entire runway. You gotta be kidding me. Well, alright. So be it. So make the right turn here. Little bit of frame rate stutter there. That's okay. Probably just because the scenery hasn't fully loaded in. Alright, there's the whole position. And even though we have to taxi down most of the runway, let's do this. Park and brake is set. Pitch trim should be set for takeoff, and it is. That's good. Rudder trim is neutral. That's good. Flaps set to take off on both sides. Let's get out and look at the flight controls. Rudder is good. Elevator is good. Ailerons are good back into the cockpit. Fuel selectors are both set to on. Power is idle. Engine instruments all look good. We don't have any warning annunciators other than the pitot heat, which why are those stuttering like that? Which we don't need. I mean, yeah, we will need them once we get airborne. Alright, yeah, let's just go ahead and turn them on, actually. That way we have it taken care of. The fuel pumps, so each of these switches for the left and for the right, both of those go on. Runway, so we are facing, so runway 4, so we're going to make a right turn, taxi to the end, and turn around for our runway 22 departure. Given the wind, let's just check and make sure it hasn't changed. Because if it's let up, we might be able to just take off this direction. But I doubt it. No. Yeah. So we're going to have to turn around. We don't have to worry about the ECU tests. Those are all in-op. We would if they were enabled, but since they are in-op in the sim, we don't have to worry about it. Right. Taxi light off, landing light on. Transponder mode code check. That's all good. We can go ahead and release the parking brake. And just the last thing to double check would be try to see it a little better over here. VNav, nav, and yep, all of that's good. I think somebody's shooting fireworks. Yep, somebody's shooting fireworks. It's a few days late for that. Alright. We are good to go ahead out onto the runway. And we're going to make a right turn and just taxi down until we determine we have enough runway. So what it actually can do, let's just get turned on and get taxiing down, and then I can real quick look at the map. Yeah, this steering in this plane, it feels heavy. And we're good right like that. So what I'll do real quick is just, oh yeah, see you can zoom in and see exactly where it all comes in and stuff. But I'll just click on the airport real quick. It's 6,700 feet. We don't need that much distance, so instead of going all the way to the end and turning around, we'll just turn around kind of midway down.
Take a moment right here.
So this marking right here tells us that there's about another 2,500 feet or so. Maybe 3,000. When we see the lights on the side turn from white to yellow, that's 2,000 feet remaining. And that would leave us almost 5,000 to take off. So we'll turn at that point. More. Now right down here where we see the double marks. Yep, right there. Let's go ahead and hit the brakes and maybe it's not going to let us. Man, this plane has just been tricky to turn. Let's get lined up here. Okay, let's check our direction. Yeah, 220, so we're set for the right runway. Final check across everything. Flaps are set to half. We did the checklist, but it never hurts to check before you immediately begin the roll. Trim is set. Set it back to there where we want it. Switches. levers, everything looks in place. Alright, we're gonna go full power, rotate at 76 knots, lift off probably in the low 80s, and then we'll pitch for 90. We'll engage the autopilot 800 feet above the ground. So when the altimeter says 900, we will we'll go ahead right there. So it tells us some different speeds, some limitations. Yeah, cruise, climb, descent, maneuvering, 800 is the limit above the ground. Approach and departure is 200. So you actually can engage at 200 if you are set on a I understand that to be a departure procedure. Day VFR, night VFR, IFR. Yep, okay. Autopilot yaw damper disconnect during takeoff and landing. Okay. You also need to be at 90 knots to engage the autopilot properly. Let's go full power. Alright, our airspeed is alive. Engine instruments look good. 76 knots on up. And there's 90. Positive rate of climb, we can bring the gear up. We can bring the flaps up. Look at that. Wow, that's pretty. There's snow. When we get to 800 feet, we'll be over the water, so when we get to 800 feet, we can engage the autopilot.
Engaging autopilot.
Alright, and we'll let the plane do its work. Take a look outside here real quick. That's pretty neat. Turning right over here over this little island spit. That must be the harbor. Here's the airport, and then here's the town of Homer. All up that way. A little further over the Kenai Peninsula. And if we zoom out, I mean, we're too low to see it, but further back up that way is Kenai and Soldotna. They also add in a nice little seaplane kind of base right here. It's kind of cool. Let's go back into the cockpit here. So we're climbing. Our VY, which is our best rate of climb speed, is 87 knots. So 90 kind of optimizes the good rate of climb with also a little bit more forward speed and better engine cooling. Alright, so climb, our landing gear is up, our flaps are up, climb power will pull back to 95%. No, that's not right, come on. .95%, and hopefully it should just sit there and stay. We can go ahead and turn the landing light off, and we do not have to really do anything other than sit back, relax, and enjoy. What we should go ahead and do though on here is zoom out and Alright, set. It's kind of a wide cockpit because you have all this stuff in between the screens, and they're not angled, so they're a little trickier to see. I mean, I guess you could do like that, but even then, it still is a little bit. Alright. Oh, look at that. We'll have a good view of Seldovia off to the right if we look outside. There's Homer right back there, starting to cloud over a bit. It's pretty well heavily built up out that way. Seward, it was pretty bad. Even like at Anchorage, further up north. Even Kenai and Soldotna were kind of rough when it came to the weather. Kenai's actually pretty good. Soldotna's overcast. Seward is overcast. Anchorage is overcast. Talkeetna's overcast. Valdez and Cordova are both overcast. King Salmon is overcast. It's like everything around is pretty much overcast. In south central Alaska. Except for Kenai and Homer. And Kodiak is not overcast, but the skies are broken there. So not a whole lot better. But if you take a look out there, you can kind of see. I believe this is the Iliamna volcano. But you get a bit of a view. I know that we're far out from it. Oh, the other thing we do, I misread that. Fuel pumps can come off. It's going to be pretty cloudy down over here. Not going to get great views, unfortunately, from over in these areas. I was hoping we'd get a bit of a view of Seldovia. It's kind of a neat little place to see. Man, looks a little better out that way. Homer back there. So our route, Seldovia's right there, and then what is this? Jackalope Bay, that's a seaplane base, pretty sure. Bootlegger's Cove. That's a fun name for an airport. Oh, man. So yeah, anyway. So that's pretty much Seldovia. This is the southern tip of the Kenai Peninsula. A couple islands. And then we fly over Afognak Island down in the Kodiak. Short flight. Again, this isn't the fastest plane. We'll level off here and we'll actually have some pretty good speed. 14,000 is a pretty sweet spot for this airplane to cruise at. With the service ceiling being 20,000, but really just don't have the engine power to make cruising up there worth it. Unlike the Cirrus, which has the turbocharged engine, so it can have good performance up at its close to and at its service ceiling of 25,000 feet. Alright, well we have leveled off at cruise. So we are going to go ahead and get a couple things set up for that. Cruise power will just pull back to 75%. $75 set. And we're looking here, fuel, we've only burned 2 gallons per side, so that's good. Temperatures are good. Oil pressure, oil temp are good. Coolant temp, it's fine there. 7.9 gallons per hour. Not bad. Okay. No, so there's not really a whole lot to do right now. Just sit back and hang out, look at the underside of that. There's where the landing gear goes. That's kind of cool. I really like this paint scheme. Look at that from that side. That's pretty sweet. Look back out that way, you can see a couple of the peaks of the kind of the Aleutian Range. Before the islands, this is where the Alaska Peninsula really begins. It's kind of right down over here. And it ends at Cold Bay, which we did a flight into yesterday. Man, that's really neat. Back into the cockpit. Take a look. What that's saying is at 33 minutes, I believe. Yes. 33 minutes remaining. We're doing 176 over the ground and 185 true. That's not bad. I was expecting we would do lower than that true. 75% power. That's actually pretty good. So let's take a look at our options going into Kodiak. First, let's see if we can get the weather. Chances are it'll update before we get there. Yeah, we're still too far from it.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to live this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night.
So we still have a fair ways to go.
The sunrise, we know we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in
Getting a little bumpy.
they know
Not bad, actually. Just a little bit of light turbulence going over there.
the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Yeah. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy, but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride.
That really is quite a quiet flight. And sometimes, I mean, that's okay. Better that than to have it really hectic and outright chaotic. And that obviously brings its fair share of difficulties with it. I was like, man, we're not really doing anything up here at Cruise. Sit back, look around, and
Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah,
Well, we were supposed to get some thunderstorms, and it looks like we probably won't now. Well, actually, we might, though. Looking at it. We had a lot of rain yesterday evening and into the night, which was really nice because we've had moderate drought conditions here in central South Carolina for a fair bit of time. So we needed the rain. And it certainly has helped, but we need more of it. Need a fair bit more. So we're over these central islands here, which is not quite the halfway point. Those are called the Barren Islands.
Was it the voice? Was it the fire burning in me? All of the noise turned into choirs of harmony. Left me with the pieces of forever that you broke. But since you left me alone, I've been high.
Oh, it's just almost totally overcast out this way, though. That just looks like a big sheet of cotton balls. Puffy out there. I'm wondering if we may have a bit of rough weather going down. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't think we will need the de-icing, but I do want to check and see if it has. It actually looks like it doesn't. Doesn't say. Never mind. Alright, let's get the weather at Kodiak. 0905. 10 miles visibility, broken at 26. 13 Celsius, 30.12. Let's go ahead. Are we closer to Kodiak than Homer at the halfway point? We're right at halfway. So we'll just give it a minute, and what we'll do is check back after we get an update that pushes through on the weather. we will set that and kind of see where we're at.
Don't run, don't turn left or turn right or look straight at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. Break down.
Showing about 19 minutes en route.
They said, be me. Look beneath the bed before you go to sleep. Keep on, I shine. You'll surely get burned if you reach out and touch. My mind is a battle, I'm trying to hide it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again. Don't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. Break down. Until you break down. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. Hold on, hold on. You're not lost, you're not
About 15 minutes to go.
My heart.
Let's go ahead and start configuring for an approach into Kodiak. Let's set up for the ILS. Just assuming the weather gets worse. If it doesn't, great, but if it does, then we'll be prepared. Josra is the final, so we can set to We could go to Codney. Which isn't Waback. Doesn't let us go direct to Cheney, which is an intermediate fix. So we will set. No, we'll set it to Waback. Or maybe way back is how you say that. I don't know. The minimums need to be 640.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head.
And we will go ahead and hit load. And we will set. Oh, and it gives us a little while to top of descent. We are going to set direct to that. And actually, that tells us now we need to get ready to start descending. So we'll set that course. Do we have updated weather yet? No. Which means it'll probably come in shortly. Yeah, we're about to top a descent, so let's go all the way down to 2,000. Let's make sure VNav is on. It is. Alright, there we go. We start descending here. Let's go ahead and pull back on the power just a little bit. I'm going to set about 40 to 45%. If we set 45, we should be okay there. Kind of about keep that speed on the way down, which is what we're looking for. Alright, we got the updated weather. It's 080 at 6 is the wind. 10 miles visibility. 2,600 broken, so the clouds have not changed. 13 Celsius and 30.11. So we leave the altimeter where it's at. That's easy enough. Don't think we're gonna need our de-ice. It'll be above freezing before we end up going through any clouds. Should be at least. So I think we'll be good there. Depending on when we get down through the clouds, we may actually not even need to fly the whole approach. We might take vectors, or we might even just descend and set ourselves up for a 1 to 2 mile final. So the plan on the map is as follows. So we're flying over, this is Fognak Island right here. This is kind of lumped together with Kodiak, but it is independent. This is Kodiak Island proper. And it kind of separates like right back here. So here's Kodiak downtown, there's the VOR. And here's, they call it Kodiak Station is the town. It's actually a Coast Guard base. And it's the main airport, they have the airline service and everything to there. So what it's currently having us do is fly to this point way back. But if we get to be able to pick the airport up, what we can do is just fly here and turn and save a bit of time rather than having to fly this arc. So what we'll do is we will set, and the wind is pushing us this way, which is also helpful in that regard. So what we can actually do, set the heading bug for 170. And when we get to that point, we can just fly that. Although at the navigation, we may still be descending. And we are over VNO, so we're going to want to come back on the power a little bit here. We want to add a little more than that there. That's about where we're at. And it looks like it might be starting to rain here pretty soon. Storm passing by, but it looks like it's just missing us. I hope we get more rain. We need it. My lawn is starting to turn brown. Oh, now it is saying we are going to get rain. A 90% chance of rain in the next hour. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it. You know the great thing about being a meteorologist? You can always be wrong and you keep your job the next day. It's kind of pretty out that way. We are going to turn VNav off, and we're going to set the FLC. We're going to descend at 150. Kind of pushing the nose down a bit to gain some speed, and then we'll kind of level out. This will help us drop some speed faster, but I think I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We are going to turn this 5 degrees to the left. 165. We will go ahead and set heading select. And we're going to go in here and activate a vector to final. About 7 minutes to go, and at the rate we're going, we should be good. Let's go in and check the approach plate, and it says that we should cross the final approach fix, which is right here. It's this point highlighted, Josra. We should be at 1,600. In fact, we should not go below that altitude until we are lined up and we pass over that fix. But since everything we're flying over right now is ocean, we can go all the way down to 1,600. So let's set that there. And let's just continue our descent here. About to start going through the clouds. We are above freezing. It's 4 Celsius outside. Look at that. We see some clear skies over the ocean. Alright, it's gonna get fun in a moment. Let's do our descent checklist here real quick. Landing data, we have it. We got the weather. The altimeter, we didn't have to change because it's the same at Kodiak as it was at Homer. Parking brake, we'll confirm, is released. Rudder trim is set neutral. Fuel selectors are on. Now we turn the fuel pumps on. And we'll go ahead and turn the landing light on. Alright, we'll try to get the plane to fly the approach course, which we should be able to do without too much difficulty. We can actually lower this a bit. Slow our descent rate. But it won't hurt to have a little bit of time at 1600 just to be level. And kind of be able to slow our speed down. Tech Chariot, welcome! Wait. Should be set Gaia object. Huh? Probably made a joke about me saying to set something, and I missed when that came through what you were referring to. But welcome, good to have you. Alright. Oh, look at that! So the broken skies are letting a little bit of sunlight down, and we can actually see the city of Kodiak. This has always been one of my favorite airports to fly into since 2009, when I first started playing Flight Sim 10. Have that great view. Look at that too. Just a beautiful city. And then there is the airport that we're landing at. Kodiak's main airport. Kodiak downtown is over back here, I believe. Maybe actually right here. Either way, get a little bit of a view of it. And we're getting pretty close to leveling off, so let's zoom into that. And once we level off, we'll pull back on the power and just bleed some airspeed and get the plane slowed down. The approach speed that we want to be at, probably 80 to 90 knots. Alright, we are leveling off. We'll add a little bit of power in, just to kind of sustain that. But we'll slowly lose some speed. We can put the first notch of flaps down pretty much now. I think that says 136, is it? Yeah, 136. Landing is 119. We're not going to put any flaps in yet. We'll wait until we're established on course to do that. But this is kind of our opportunity to bleed a little bit of airspeed off. Get that cool view of the city over there. Let's turn in. And this is when we're about 8 miles out. We should have gear down and full flaps, but we're not even intercepting that far away, so we can do that closer in. We just won't forget, because we'll get enunciators that tell us not to forget. Alright. This needle should start coming alive in a moment. Once this starts moving in, we'll begin a turn. And actually, we could even begin the turn now. Let's pull back on the power. And actually, let's set a turn. The course is 258, so we want to have this intercept about 228, and that should be enough time. Add a little bit of power. Needle should start moving inward any moment. Next thing we do is set this approach button. Turning to intercept the course. We got the runway. And we'll lower the altitude all the way. We'll actually set it to 600, because if we don't see the runway, then it'll level us off and we'll climb. Yeah, but now we're turning to pick that up, which is good. Alright. Let's go half flaps. Pump the power up just a little bit. Once this diamond indicator flies down to where we're at, we should start lowering with it. Is there an award in this game for most creative crash landing? I don't think the game would recognize it as such, but you could certainly have a contest where people would record that and send it in. That would actually be really funny. Let's pull the power back, and it is descending for us for once, which is good. Alright, so now that we're established on our final course, let's go ahead and just want to check our maximum gear speed. It should say here. VLE 205, VLO extending is 205, so we're good. VLOR retracting, you need to be below 162, which, wow, we're way below that, so yeah, we're good. Gear down. Let's wait for 3 green lights. We're good. And we can go full flaps in a moment. Yeah, it's broken sky, a little bit of sunlight's coming down. So you can kind of see some of the mountain peaks in the background have some sun shining on them. And it looks like there's a tiny bit of sun hitting the town right over there. Alright. We've got the runway, so we're landing assured. We can continue down. Minus 1,000 feet. Let's go full flaps. Keep the power in. And we can get plenty slow as we get closer to the runway. Tech says, well, Jasuni add the Dalton Highway to his map. I think the road crosses the Yukon River at least once. It does cross once. I don't know. It crosses in kind of a hilly spot. It's west of Fort Yukon before it reaches Tanana, because the road starts in Fairbanks. I wouldn't think you would add it. I mean, it's a bridge over the river that's pretty high up if you look at pictures of it. got a good speed. We can slow probably down to about 80 knots. We'll bring some power out here. About 400 feet to go. Well, we're looking pretty good. Buildable yurts? I don't know. I'm just letting them do their thing as long as they comply with the requirements set out. I think they'll be totally fine. Alright, we are just a tiny bit low here, 200 feet above the ground. Let's go ahead and disengage the autopilot. And let's just fly right to the, getting just a little bit off course here. And I don't have very good visibility above the nose in this plane. Not horrible. The synthetic vision helps a little bit. Let's take the power out. Down. Landing a little bit far. We're still floating. Come on! Ease down. This plane just does not want to touch down. Are we gonna have to go missed? Now, we're gonna have to go missed. You've got to be kidding me. Plane just did not want to land. Alright, we are going up. We have a positive rate. Flaps up. And we have a very tricky procedure to make. Alright, we have the rate of climb that we need. We're gonna come back around and do that again. That was just wild. Alright, we'll take that back out. We should be flaps up. They are. Okay. We can stay at 800. Plane just did not want to get slowed down. It's wild. Let's turn back over. You can kind of see the Coast Guard base over on this side. We'll see the civilian side once we land, because that's where we're turning and going. That's a very tall mount. In fact, you cannot land the opposite direction from where we were going because of that. Like, not only is it just not safe and not really possible, but it is actually prohibited by regulations. Alright. So we're a beam, so what we can do is actually take some power out. We'll go ahead, half flaps. Let's make sure the gear is still down. Good. Shouldn't have done that. Trim wheel. Jumped a little bit there. And we're kind of just coasting here. Behind us here. Yeah, we're good to turn back. Keep the power in. We don't want to get too low yet, so we're having to turn back around. Yeah, we're lower than we should be, but as we turn in, that needle's coming up, so we're okay for now. We still don't want to get too low. Stay right about there. Keeping our speed at about 500. Let's begin to turn, get lined up, and we'll get slowed down fully. We'll put full flaps in once we get established on final. I'm really surprised that the plane just did not want to land. Now we can start lowering. Let's try to intercept this slope here. Just a little bit. Alright, full flaps. And rather than run out a runway, try and touch down and get the plane brakes, you know, fall brakes and running off the runway. Better thing to do is just go mist and circle around. I mean, we lost all of, what, 4 minutes doing that? A little bit low. We're actually quite low, but that's alright. We can level off. We've got the speed. Now we're on course. Let's come down just a little bit. Nice and easy. We're floating again. Take the power all the way out. There we are. Alright, flaps up. And we can just roll full speed. That's a really cool, like, that's one thing I really love about this approach coming in. Number one, it's over the water and you get to see the whole island, but then when you touch down, there's just this really big, imposing mountain right in front of you. It's like, wow. Alright, we can go idle power here. We're gonna hit the brakes in a moment. I think we may have a turn off up here. If not, we'll just circle around. Nope. Yep. Let's go ahead and make the turn. Mountain is looming over you. It's massive, and it's... yeah, it's fairly highly imposing over. I imagine you'd get a spectacular view if you were to go to the top of it. We'll turn back around. You usually make that turn, but for just the thought of there was one further up, and I forget that there isn't. Alright, we'll be on the ground. Well, we're on the ground. We'll be at the ramp and shut down in just a moment. Yep. So you just, yeah, that's what you do. If you're rolling fast, you just get to the end and turn around. And there is the line for us to follow. ATC telling you probably to get out of the way. Yeah, although, I mean, if there isn't a lot of traffic, they won't. Like, at a really busy airport, oh yeah, they'd be shouting. At a place where it's not real busy, I don't think Kodiak Airport is particularly busy, other than occasionally from the Coast Guard activity. And it looks a little different now that we got that add-on scenery. There's the mountain back up there. Looks so cool. And, yeah, so Alaska Airlines hangar right there. And we are going up here. There's a couple fuel boxes. There's the fuel tanks and the trucks. And the question is, where do we park? Should be an FBO. Now, of course, most of us will go. Oh, back here. You forgot your turn signal. Yeah. These planes don't have turn signals. We have our landing lights in, though. They have a couple dumpsters. Alright, and then what we can do is curve this way. maybe loop back around. We'll just stop right there, and what we would do is shut down, and then we get a push back, kind of back in the way. Parking brake is set. The bears will probably get into those dumpsters. I would certainly hope not. They better have them nice and tightly sealed. Alright, let's do a couple final checks. The pitot heat can come off. Fuel pumps off. De-ice wasn't used. Landing light off. Transponder standby. Alright. Power is idle for 60 seconds. As long as it's below 10%, we're good. ELT is armed. We haven't touched that. Avionics switch off. Nav lights off. We'll leave the strobe lights on until we shut the engines down. Let's go ahead and cut the right engine first. Alright, the right engine is stopped. Cut the left engine. 55 minutes in the air, it says. Alright, left engine is stopped. All that's left. Strobe lights. We'll lower the guards on these. Pull them back in place. That back. And last but not least, alright, and there we are. What kind of hotel is that? Oh, it's a Quality Inn! Even in Flight Simulator, all the way in Kodiak, you can see a Quality Inn. Oh, that's too funny. Okay. Alright, folks. Well, welcome to Kodiak, Alaska. Thanks for flying with me, and hope to have you aboard on the next one. As always, until then, take care, stay safe. We'll see ya.